What's up, Mosaic? We want to invite you to worship with us, so let's sing this together. Your love, it keeps pulling us up, pulling us back to where you are. Let's sing, and it's your love, and it's your love, your peace, your joy that fills our heart. And when you move, like rain, you fall right through us like a flood. Your voice, it speaks the sound like fire to our bones. Oh, let's sing it out. Lead us back to you. Our lives and binds us to your heart. Your power, it fuels our souls with strength to carry on. Oh, come on, lead us back to you. Oh, lead us back to you.
In church, I'm so excited that we have the honor and privilege to lead you in worship this evening, because it is with grateful hearts that we stand here. We're so grateful that we get to usher you in to God's presence. It is our hope and our prayer that you would feel closer to Him through every word that you sing tonight. We just pray that you would feel free to lift your hands. You would feel free to raise your voice with us, because we are singing to the most beautiful God. We are singing to the beautiful Creator of the universe tonight. We're going to sing a song. It's called How Beautiful. And it's just us singing an expression of thank you. And that thank you is just saying how beautiful God is, how beautiful Jesus is, that he came for us. I just invite you to raise your hands with me in this place. Raise them high, raise them unashamed. Just think of the beautiful work that God has done in your life, the beautiful work that he has done in your heart. Let's just thank him together tonight. Sing it out. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful.
How beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. How beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. How beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how Oh, you are so, so beautiful. You are. Come on, sing this out. You are my reward. You are my reward, treasure of heaven. Come on. You are my supply, now and forever. And all my hope. And all my hope. And all my joy is found in you. Come on, we sing this together. Oh, your mercy rushing through. Oh, how beautiful. How beautiful. Love amazing. Oh, love has saved. Oh, how beautiful. How beautiful. Come on, you are my reward. You are my reward. Love unfailing. And I do not deserve, but still you call me. Oh, and all my hope. Come on. And all my joy is found in you. Oh, your mercy. Oh, your mercy rushing through. Oh, how beautiful. How beautiful. Love amazing. Your love has Jesus, how I need you. Sing how I love you. Come on. Oh, how I love you. Every voice. Jesus, how I love you. Oh, how I need you. Jesus, how I need you. Oh, your mercy rushing through. Oh, how beautiful the blessing. Oh, your love is saving. How beautiful, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Come on. How beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. How beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Come on, if you came to worship, let's sing this out. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, your mercy rushing through me. Oh, hey, come on. Come on, Mosaic. Hey, well, we're not done with that song yet. Man, can you feel God's presence in this place? Man, it is powerful. First of all, welcome to Mosaic. Welcome to church if you're a guest. If you're like, is it like this every week? Yes. Because something powerful happens when we come together as the tribe that God envisioned us. And I love this song that talks about the beauty of God. Last night, we got to go to the LAFC soccer game for the first time. And it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. I don't even like soccer. I don't even know anything about soccer. But there's this group of fans that for the entire game, they are chanting and cheering and celebrating nonstop from the first minute to the 90th minute. And I cannot tell you what happened, but I got swept up into that environment. And I don't even like soccer, but I was like, LA, FC, LA, FC. It swallowed me up. See, I wonder what would happen if us together as the church, we had that same energy that thousands of people at a soccer stadium have.
where we together, we invite other people to experience what we've experienced. So I want you to raise your hands with us. I want you to sing with us, to worship, and tell God how beautiful He is. Come on.
Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. How beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, how beautiful.
Mosaic, let's just thank God right now. Man, welcome to church. Give somebody next to you a high five and say, welcome home.
Welcome home. And take a seat. You can take a seat.
Grab a seat, man, sweaty.
You know what?
If you can find a seat, grab a seat.
It is a privilege to welcome you to Mosaic, the place that has changed me, wrecked me, and helped me find home. And I just love that we get to welcome all of you to home, to being here, to Mosaic.
Yes, yes. So we haven't met yet.
Yeah.
Oh, get it.
Hey.
Right.
My name's Beck, and I'm the kids pastor here at the Woods campus. Give it up.
And I'm Joe, and I'm married to her, so I win. But we're so glad you're here. If it's your first time here at Mosaic, can you raise your hand? We'd love to just see you, meet you.
High five.
Come on
Let's
now.
high five someone around. Hey.
Incredible. Give them a high five if you're around them. Man, welcome home. We're so glad you're here. We apologize for the heat, but it's not our fault, all right? It's your fault because you showed up, but it's a great problem. But man, we are just so glad you're here. This is why we do this. So if you're a guest, we just want to encourage you before you leave, meet somebody new. At the end of the gathering, we have a space in the back called Next Step. Come and find us. We'd love to meet you and just say hi.
Well, we had an incredible week last week. We had all the 4th of July parties all across the city of LA.
Amazing.
We were on the beach. We were in South Pasadena. We were in Hollywood. We were everywhere. We had over thousands of people coming out to all those different events. So make sure that you get connected here because we have places and opportunities for you to connect to people.
Yeah, and another amazing thing that we brought back last week or last month was midweek. Make some noise if you've been to midweek before. So incredible. Midweek is it's a space we started, and the first week we had a little less than 200 people that came. And then it was so amazing to watch by the end of the month, we had almost 400 people that were a part of midweek. To see it double, which means one person's excited, they clapped, right? If one person claps, we all can clap and just. But why that's exciting and why we wanted to share it, it's just because we just wanted to give some highlights of what God's doing within our church that we get to be a part of together. And it's amazing to see that many people coming. It means that you're inviting your friends. It means that you're filling up the room. And so I just want to encourage you, if you know people that just can't make it on a Sunday because they work on the weekend, midweek is a great space for them to get church in the middle of the week. And it's been one of the most amazing things that we've been a part of here in Hollywood that we've loved.
So now we're going to shift in our time to offering and giving. And I have the privilege of calling up one of my best friends and a pastor who I love, and she leads me. So I know she's going to lead you tonight. So give it up for Pastor McManus, Goss.
What's up? 8:30. feeling tonight? I'm feeling good. Thanks for asking. I'm going to change things up a little right now. And all of you are freaking out probably, especially production team, but they know. I'm going to ask my sweet brother, Erwin McManus, to please grace us with your presence. Can we give it up for Erwin, please? You're going to stand here mic-less and helpless. You weren't supposed to come yet. No, you're not supposed to come yet. Come on this side. Okay. Yeah, come on this side. Okay. So 30 years ago tomorrow, Erwin was born. And I just want to say a few things, because I got the mic. If you don't know Erwin, he's the campus pastor of our Venice campus, our Venice Beach campus. And you are the best thing on this planet. You are my very best friend, and my whole life I've wanted to be like you, but really I've just appreciated the life that you've lived and the hand that God has on you. And so I'm just so grateful that you're alive, and I'm grateful that you have been there for me my whole life. And for someone that struggles with loneliness, you've always been the person I can run to. You've always been my first call. You're first on my favorites list. Sorry, Jake. And I'm just so grateful for you. And I know that you have been the fire that Mosaic has needed to push forward. You've been the catalyst for so many lives changed. And on your shoulders are endless names of people who know Jesus because of you. And I'm so grateful for you. So here are some donuts on fire. So if we could just all yell out on the count of 3, happy birthday. 1, 2, 3, happy birthday! Not yet. Before you leave, I would like some of our peeps, like the Venice crew and our staff crew and my family, to just come up really quick. And we would love to pray for you. I would love to pray for you. Because there's so much happening. If you haven't been to Venice, is there anybody from our Venice crew here? Oh wow, a stampede. You know that if you're part of the Venice crew, that there have been lives changed and there are things happening there because of this person. And it's just an amazing thing. And I know the 3 of us, we bond in a mutual way because we want your life to succeed. And I feel like God has put on my heart that I am to do anything that I can to champion your dreams. And so I'm grateful that in a small way I could be part of the legacy that you're building and the life that you're building. And so we just want to pray for you. And if you could just reach a hand out, that would be awesome. Okay. Jesus, thank you for my brother, my big brother. Thank you for a hero. Thank you for someone who has changed so many lives, including the people that are standing on this stage. Thank you for the countless lives that will be changed in his 30th year. God, I pray that it would be bigger than he could ever have imagined. God, I pray that as he steps into tomorrow and the next year, that dreams would grow, that dreams would explode, that things would change in his life, that things would shift, that you would give him a power that he has never known, that you would give him a divine power, that you would put in him messages that we can't live until we've heard. God, I pray that you would give him specific eyes and specific words to speak to this generation, because I know we cannot move forward without his voice. God, I pray that you would continue every single morning to remind him that he is anointed, to remind him that he has something to say, to remind him that he is strong, to remind him that he is powerful, and that every single conversation and every step that he takes shifts the earth. It changes the atmosphere. It changes the course of history, because you have a specific word on his life to change everything. God, I pray that with that comes so much weight and so much heaviness, and I pray that the people reaching out their arms and the people touching him right now would be able to lift that in a small way, that we could be the people that lift his burden, that give him laughs, that FaceTime him every second of the day, that bring him donuts when he needs them, God. I'm just grateful that we get to be a part of his life. Thank you for giving him to us. Thank you for giving him in our lives and for this time, for this generation, because we know we need him, God. Thank you so much for Aaron McManus. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Turn to someone and say, good evening. Say it more. I need a second. All right, you guys ready to give? It's time now. Now that we're negative 240 into the offering talk. If you'll turn to me to Romans 1:16 and 17, it says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes, first to the Jew, then to the Gentile. For in the gospel the righteousness of God is revealed, a righteousness that is by faith from first to last, just as it is written, the righteous will live by faith." And if you've been here for the last couple weeks, you've seen a video calling us to give to owning our buildings. And it's a really exciting ask because we want to build Hollywood. We want to own this building. We want to own the land that we're currently sitting on and standing on. And we want to own South Pasadena at the Rialto. We want to own buildings on the beach cities. And these are huge asks, but the people asking them have lived by faith. They've seen what faith does to people. They've seen what amazing miracles faith can work. And yesterday, Tess and I were at Blue Bottle, and when we ordered our coffee, the guy said, "It's already been taken care of. The guy before you already paid for you before you walked in." And so we tried to scrounge up any dollar bills that we had to help the next person. But what I love is that we walk in here and we think that everything appeared. But it was the people that came before us that sowed into this place. That's why we have a place to even be inside right now. That's why we have air conditioning. That's why you have a seat. These things didn't just appear out of nowhere. They were here before you got here. And there were people that were here before you got here that lived by faith. And what I love about the scriptures is it gives us instruction for how to live. And so you walk in this building and we want to know how to connect to God. And some of you are desperately trying to figure out how to have that connection. Well, it says it right here, the righteous will live by faith. If you want to open a conversation with God, you start living by faith. You start stepping out into things you don't know. You start giving more than you feel comfortable with. And we talk a lot about giving 10% because that's what the scriptures ask us to do. But that's not necessarily living by faith, because some of us give 10%, no problem. But some of us are not uncomfortable with that. And faith is stepping out and saying, this is what I'm uncomfortable with. Because God doesn't deserve your 10%. God deserves all of it because he gave it to you. And so why would we put a limit on what God has given us? That means if we have a limit on what we could give, do we have a limit on what God could give us? And so if we give everything that we have to God, if we say, I'm willing to give you anything that's uncomfortable, God will step into that because the righteous will live by faith. And I'm going to ask the people with the buckets to come forward. And I love that we're doing this together, that we're stepping out in faith together, but it starts with an individual decision to live by faith. That we are to be the people that walk into this building that never see the other person. We're going to be the people that our kids walk in here and they're like, who set this up? Who built this place? Who are the people that gave sacrificially? And we might never be seen, like I never saw that guy at Blue Bottle, but we get to reap the benefits. They're eternal benefits. There are things that are happening in here that we'll never see until we're in eternity. And it's a beautiful thing. And so if we can give the buckets. I don't know what that means. One thing about this moment is when you hear this talk and when the buckets are being passed, there's not a lot of time. And the buckets are being passed, but you don't have any cash. We all know that. It's more of a symbolic situation. But there's so many ways that you can give. And I would encourage you right now to just take this with you. And throughout the week and throughout the night, just think about how God is asking you to step out in faith. just think about what God is asking you to do that might be uncomfortable for you. And this is a place that is built on faith, and we need people that are ready to step out in faith. And so as you're going throughout your week, I just encourage you to just think about that. And you can give in so many ways throughout the week. You can give on the app, you can give at mosaic.org/give, and you can text Mosaic to 77977 and do all the things. I love you guys. Here's church news.
What's up, Mosaic? Welcome to church.
We always have so many amazing things happening here at Mosaic, and we want you to stay connected. You can download our app. You can also follow us on Instagram. Check out the handles on the screen. And the best way to get connected is to meet an actual person after the gathering at Next Step.
Mosaic Conference 2018 is coming up fast, so make sure you get your tickets ASAP. You can find more info at mosaic.org/conference. Now check out this dope video.
And this is the fundamental problem in the church, is the church keeps looking backwards into the past instead of looking forward into the future. We are the new humanity.
We love doing life together here at Mosaic, so the best way to connect with community is by serving on a team. To find your team, go and talk to someone in the Next Step area after the gathering. We would love to serve with you.
We can't go a full week without church, so we have midweek. Come out for incredible worship, awesome word here at the Woods, 8 p.m. Wednesday nights. We'll see you there.
What's up, Mosaic? Hey, I am so excited because this week, guess what? We're launching dinner parties across all campuses. What a dinner party is, it's a space where people open up their homes. We share a meal together, we share life together. So here's what you gotta do. Invite your friends, go to the app, and you'll find a dinner party nearest you. I cannot wait to see you there.
Mosaic is moving into a new chapter as a church. We're taking more ground in our city by moving from renters to owners. This is our new season.
We're going to do this because 100 years from now, the church needs to be powerful and impossible to ignore. The church needs to be undeniable in our city of Los Angeles. There are just too many people who come here so gifted, so talented, so fragile. And I'm telling you, Los Angeles needs what we have to offer. And we need to let our city know we're not going anywhere.
We love you, Mosaic. We have one more song. Let's stand and worship.
guys doing tonight? Doing good? Man, what a great, thank you guys for leading us in such powerful worship. And I just want to especially, can we just give a shout out to Tim over here? Man, you guys, you're just working so hard, bro. He's been doing that all day. I've been watching you, bro. A few times I thought, you're going to black out, man. There's not enough oxygen in this room. Cardio. It's good, it's good. See, you thought you wanted that gift, but you didn't know that gift comes with work. Doesn't it? Wow. So good to have you here. I didn't get to see, how many here are first-time guests? So many, that's so good. So good to have you guys here. Good to have you here. So good. Glad you came tonight. We're so grateful that you're here. It's not always this hot. And, I got a tweet today that asked me, hey, is there going to be air conditioning at Mosaic? Is it asking for a friend? And it was somebody from a church in Orange County where they always have air conditioning. And so I wanted to respond, Jesus will be there. And I don't know about air conditioning because air conditioning is a little less predictable, but Jesus is always here with us. And so we're going to have an amazing night together. I do want to wish my son happy birthday. So grateful for your life. I don't know where you went off to, but so good. And we're going to pray. We're going to pray for you. And I met someone who is here from another country, and they still don't know if God exists. They're just not sure, but they're here. And I love the fact that we have so many people who come here who say, I'm an atheist. I have so many friends who tell me I'm an atheist, but they come. And in fact, I have a friend who's an atheist who's helping us try to buy this property. I think that's kind of awesome. And because you never know what's going to happen to you. See, even when you don't believe in God, God already believes in you. So the relationship is not equitable. He's already for you, even though you're not yet for him. So it's coming. It's coming because he's faster than you. Because love runs faster than doubt. So you better run because he's coming for you. Father, thank you so much that your love is what pursues us. You could pursue us with judgment or condemnation. You could catch us in our guilt and shame, but you just choose not to. You just choose to pursue us with your love, to wrap us up in your kindness, to just wash over us in your grace, to always hold us in your mercy, and we're so grateful. In Jesus, we want to just thank you that you chose to step into human history for us, to die on the cross for us. And we're astonished that you see us and that we matter. And God, I just want to thank you that even though life isn't always the way I want it to be, that you're always there with me in the midst of it. I'm not crazy about this heat, Lord. I'm really not happy with it. And you could send it back to Arizona. You're capable of doing that. But God, I'm willing to stand in the heat with you than being in air conditioning without you. So tonight we just stand in this space and say, Jesus, speak. We pray in your name. Amen. Can we just thank God for the night? Oh, good. Then you can have a seat. Now, I've lived in LA for over 25 years, and I've seen so many people come to the city filled with hopes and dreams, passion, intention, confidence. Some of them have the language of destiny. They were just pursuing their destiny. Some have a language of calling. They felt they were called to the city. And as many people as I've seen come to the city, so certain this is exactly what they're supposed to be, I've seen that many people leave the city. Go back home or go somewhere else. And they came with dreams, but they leave so oftentimes with shattered dreams. They came with so much certainty, but they go back with so much uncertainty. And I just saw a survey of the leading cities in America from which people are leaving. And we're always, I think, pretty much near at the top of that, but this year we're number 2. So we're the city with the second highest number of people who will leave LA. And there's some of you here. You came to LA from somewhere across the country or somewhere across the world. And you are certain this is the place you're supposed to be. This is where you will find your destiny. This is where you will find your calling, your intention. This is the fulfillment of your dreams. And there's some of you that a year from now maybe somewhere else, remembering this place, but not standing in this place. And you might become convinced that it's because you just didn't have the opportunities or the relationships, or you didn't have the right connections, or some of you may actually come to believe that there are people that were just more talented than you, or more intelligent than you, or more skilled than you. But so oftentimes the difference between success and failure, between those who make it and those who don't, is simply staying power. It's not that someone is smarter than you, or more talented than you, or more gifted than you. It's that they just hung in there longer than you. And I wonder how many times in our lives we've actually thought we failed, but we actually quit because we didn't have the staying power. And that's what I want to talk to you in these moments about having the staying power to see your life through. Because even though you may leave LA one day, I hope you're not leaving this city, but that you're going to a city. See, it's one thing to leave a place. It's another thing to go to a place. I hope you never leave here because you're surrendering your life and surrendering your dreams and surrendering your future. I hope if you ever leave this place, it's because you are now moving toward your dreams, moving toward your intention, moving toward your future. Because you should never surrender into your past. You need to always be moving forward into your future. But to do that, you have to have staying power. And it's even so in your faith. I meet so many people who are they have moments where they're just so wired about their faith, so excited about it. And they're just so sure that their faith is going to endure and last. And a lot of times people are like fireworks, super bright for a moment, and then they disappear. A lot of noise, but not a lot of sustainable power. And what I want to ensure is that your faith doesn't get lost in the journey. That your faith actually has a staying power so that when you look back on your life, you can go, I faced a lot of challenges, I faced some hardships, I had a lot of failures, I had a lot of disappointments in my life, but what I did have is this superpower of staying power. So I want to read from Hebrews chapter 10, beginning of verse 23 through verse 25. It says, "Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how we may spur one another toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." When I read these words, I'm reminded that whenever there's an encouragement in the scriptures, it means somebody was discouraged. Whenever there's a realignment in the scriptures, it means someone was out of alignment. So whenever the scriptures are inspiring you, it means someone was actually deflated. So whenever they're pointing you toward a vision, it means that they're also unwrapping a problem. So he says, let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promises faithful. It lets me know right away that there were people in the early movement of Jesus, right away in the church, those followers of Jesus, who were letting go of their faith. They were losing hold of their faith. They didn't have the staying power that you would expect. And I don't know why, but this makes me a little bit hopeful that people in the first century had some of the same struggles we have now. That those people who actually lived in the time of Jesus had some of the same issues and struggles that we face in this moment. I think a part of it is that when we profess faith, we think life is going to change in a direction that it doesn't. See, I think many times when we have faith that life is going to get easier. In fact, you hear all these cliches like, just let go and let God. Right? So when you have faith, that means you don't have to do anything anymore. When you have faith, you can have atrophy of all your muscles. You don't have to think anymore. I just have faith. I'm just going to step back and let Jesus do it. Have you ever noticed that when you step back and let Jesus do it, nothing happens? See, a lot of us think that faith is like standing on a spiritual escalator. We just start going up. We go, look at me. I have so much faith. The proof of faith is I'm doing nothing. And somehow my life is elevating. Isn't this awesome? And then later you realize you're not on an escalator going up. You're in a broken elevator, trapped in a prison of your own making. He says, let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess. He's saying, if you want to have staying power, you need to hold tight. You're going to need to hold tight because there's going to be a lot of swerving involved. So you don't need to hold unswervingly if there's no swerving involved. I like that word, unswervingly. It sounds like what it means. The opposite of swervingly. And some of you didn't know that you're going to have a swervingly life when you came to faith. You just thought you were going to profess hope in Jesus and everything's going to be awesome. And there's some of you here, you actually took the risk of professing hope in Jesus, of professing hope in God, of opening your life and saying, I'm going to trust my future to the creator of the universe. And you thought everything's going to get easy then. There's going to be the straight line of faith. Now you know how to get from point A to point B because you've given your life to God and God makes your road straight. And all of a sudden, you come to faith and your life goes out of control. There's all these curves and all these twists and all these turns. You're going, God, what's going on? And God's saying, hold on. Hold tight. You need to hold unswervingly to the hope we profess. You wouldn't have to hold unswervingly if there wasn't going to be a lot of swerving. You ever play that game like Whiplash? Where there's one person, and the other person holds on to that person, another person holds on to that person, another person holds on to that person. There's a long line of people holding on, and the person in the front is supposed to start running or turning and twisting and see if they can throw people off. You ever played that game? You know who never gets thrown off? The person in the front. Unless they're an idiot. I mean, how in the world can you get thrown off when you're the one creating the change? You can't be confused. Oh, I thought I was going right. It's the person in the back because when they create that change and they create those swirls and those curves, it becomes more difficult to hold on the further back you are. See, some of you lost your faith because you were hanging on in the back and never chose to hold on in the front. So the closer you get to Jesus, the more you can hold tight and not lose hold of him when life goes out of control. But it does take holding on. See, if you're going to have staying power, you need to hold tight to your profession. And every time you declare who you are, you're going to begin to experience ups and downs, highs and lows. The moment you declare that you believe in God, the moment you declare your faith is in Jesus, the moment you cross that line of faith and trust God with your life, I'm going to tell you, get ready, because the roller coaster is coming. You're like, well, then why should I give my life to Jesus? Because I don't have any curves right now. That's right, because if you're just standing still, there are no curves. If you're just standing still, there are no turns. If you're just basically, essentially existing, there are no unexpected twists and turns of your story. But when you enter the story of God, get ready for hairpin turns in your life. When we were in school, in our master's degree, my brother Alex was in a different school in New Orleans. I was in a school in Fort Worth, but we were getting our master's degrees. And he called me up one day and he said, I have a roommate named Delbert. Now, I should tell you something right away. And Delbert was fragile. Delbert was an artist. He was a musician. And he was a pianist. And Delbert was also terrified of everything. He was afraid of everything. In fact, one day my brother called me up because there was a thunderstorm. And he didn't even know this guy. They were like strangers. They just happened to be in the same dorm room. He goes, I was laying in bed and the lightning was striking and the thunder was shaking the room. Next thing I knew, I heard something. And this guy, Delbert, took his bed and pushed it right next to my brother's bed. My brother said, what are you doing? He goes, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the thunder. And Alex goes, I don't care if you're afraid. Move your bed back. He goes, no, please let me sleep here. Alex goes, you're not going to sleep next to me. My brother said, I made him move his bed all the way back. I started going to sleep. Thunder shook the room again. I heard the bed moving all the way back. And he goes, please, please, Alex, let me sleep next to you. And he goes, you're not sleeping next to me. We're not that close. And Alex said, it was terrible. I kept pushing him back. He kept pushing himself back. Alex said, I sat with my legs pressed against the bed, saying, you're not sleeping next to me. He did become our best friend. And in fact, when Kim and I got married in the mountains of North Carolina, he was the first African-American that ever walked into that church. They never had a black person on their property. And it was a little unnerving for him and for them. And once they met him, they all fell in love, and everybody wanted to adopt him. And he was this world-class musician. But he was afraid of anything that moved fast, like microwaves, stopwatches, anything that had speed. And so my brother and I, we took him to Disney World to kind of expand his world. But it was a really small world. He wouldn't write anything. So we were spending our whole time in like, it's a small world. And Fantasyland and all the kiddie rides. And you could only do the Ferris wheel so many times as 3 adult men. And so we were like, we need to go to another place. And so we thought, we'll take him to a science expedition. I said, Delbert, we're going to take you to a planetarium. It's going to be this beautiful experience. You get to explore the stars and the cosmos and the solar system. It's called Space Mountain. And he goes, now I'm not going to do a roller coaster. No, it's not like that. It's a scenic tour of the universe. And he goes, okay, because I don't like things that are fast. And he goes, oh, we know. And so we're in this long line. It takes a long time, like an hour, to get on that ride back then. And then they had all these displays. You could look through the glass and you could see astronauts and solar systems and spaceships going by. You go, that looks fast. He goes, oh, that's all display. It's all futuristic. And we just kept walking. And then he'd hear, ah! He goes, what's that? I go, oh, it's all simulations. And he just said, okay, but you wouldn't lie to me. No, this is going to be amazing. And he said, in fact, we walk for part of the journey. And then we get in these little tiny, like, carriages. And they carry you into the planetarium. He goes, okay. And then they came. And I don't remember if we put him in the very front or the very back, by himself. And we strapped in. He goes, why am I being strapped in? He goes, oh, it's just those safety precautions. And we put him in there by himself. And my brother Alex got behind him and me behind him. And you know how it starts really slow? Like, because it's just sort of going up. Then he goes inside this giant tunnel that suddenly lights up. He goes, he goes, what's going on? What's going on? I said, planetarium, Delbert. You're about to see the stars. And then that thing goes, boom. And you can hear him, ah! Screaming my brother's name, Alex! Erwin! Like, look at the stars, Delbert! And he screamed the whole way. It was an important life lesson that we were gracious enough to take him through. Because if you're not willing to step into those ups and downs of life, you will never experience the adventure God created you to live. And some of you want to live by faith, but you don't realize that faith demands that you hold tight. Now, you can make a mistake sometimes. Mariah was maybe 8, maybe 9, I don't know. I wanted to take her on a roller coaster. We went to somewhere like Six Flags, or there was this log flume thing, and she was afraid of roller coasters, but I knew she would love it if she just tried it. And she was a little short. Well, actually, you know how short Mariah is now? She was that tall in 3rd grade. She was the tallest person in 3rd grade. She played center on her basketball team. She was afraid of stepping on the small children. She was so huge, and then she never grew another inch the rest of her life. I've never seen anything like that. It was like, I'm done. Overachiever, resting the rest of her life. And I don't know, maybe at the end of her life, she'll grow a lot. It'll just be like 2 periods of massive growth. And I remember taking her maybe 10 years old. I kind of picked her up so that she could be tall enough. And then we got on this log flume thing where she sat on my lap. And it's really slow. 99% of it is slow. Just bumping along. And I said, see, Mariah, it's just this nice little boat ride. Just a boat ride. She goes, okay, Daddy. She goes, but I don't want to do anything fast. I said, just a boat ride, sweetie, just a boat ride. It was okay, but I don't like things that go fast. And I said, I know, sweetie, it's just a boat ride. It's going to be fine. Look how much fun it is. And then you start, it starts going up. She goes, Daddy, it's going up. I know. Look how slow it's going up. And then when it got to the very top, I could just feel her like tensing up. It's like as if she somehow knew. And then, it just dropped straight down. And Mariah, she went like this, ah! No, it was more like, ah! She didn't scream the whole way. She screamed just for a second and then stopped breathing. And she went almost like in complete paralysis. And she was like, ah! And I thought I'd killed her. I thought she was dead. And it took her about 10 years before she ever would trust me again on a roller coaster or anything. But I was trying to teach her that life is best experienced when you have to hold tight. See, I'm glad faith doesn't require us to just stand there and let God do his thing. When you step into faith, God begins to take you into the twists and the turns, the curves of life, and get a hold tight. Because you need to realize that the return of your faith, the return is in the turns. And when you take the turns, God meets you there. He says, let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess. Why? For he who promised is faithful. Not faithful to keep you from the turns, but faithful to meet you in the turns. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds. Staying power comes when we hold tight, but it also comes when we lean in. So let us consider, let's unwrap how we can do this together, how we can spur one another toward love and good deeds. I think it's so significant that the writer of Hebrews is saying, look, we need to figure out how to inspire each other, how to encourage each other, how to build into each other a culture of love and service. And so let's encourage each other, spur each other on to love and good deeds. But have you ever noticed that whenever someone tries to get you to love and serve, if they don't love and serve, they don't really inspire you? When someone tries to tell you to serve more, but they don't serve, that doesn't spur you on. When someone tells you to love more, but they don't love more, that doesn't spur you on. You know what spurs me on? When someone loves and serves more. When I see someone loving and serving, it inspires me. It moves me. And sometimes it convicts me because I'm not loving and serving the way they're loving and serving. See, if you want to spur other people to love and good deeds, if you want to spur other people to loving and serving, then live a life of loving and serving. Sometimes that's what drives me crazy about my wife. She just always wants to love and serve people. I mean, all the time. So she'll say, oh, honey, this happened this week. She goes, honey, I forgot to mention, there are more people coming over to the house today. I said, like, when today? Hi. And she goes, oh, and they're coming to meet with you. And this just happens all the time. And sometimes I go, do you really have to love and serve? All the time. Can't you just sort of like and observe? There's a certain point where loving and serving becomes a little irritating. And so if you decide to live a life of loving and serving, two things are going to happen. Either people are going to stop spending time with you because they don't want to be convicted by the way you love and serve, because they don't want to love and serve. Or they're going to be inspired to live the kind of life you're living, and they're going to start loving and serving too. And isn't that who we're supposed to be? A community who loves and serves. By the way, I've never seen anyone break up with anyone because they loved and served too much. It's never happened. I mean, maybe you broke up for a million different reasons, but I've never heard anyone say, you know why I broke up with him? He just loved me too much. Like, all he could do is think about me. And then you know what he would do? It would be really practical. He would serve me. Who does he think he is? Who do you think I am? Does he think I need someone to serve me all the time and love me all the time? I don't need to be loved all the time. That's never happened. That's never happened. And by the way, a marriage has never ended because they loved and served each other too much. And you will never lose a job because you loved and served too much. See, no one's ever going to call you and go, you're just like way too kind. I got to let you go. Why? Name me one person you don't like here. Name me one person you've mistreated. Name me one time you've said something negative or mean about someone. See? You don't belong here. Go someplace for people who love. They won't say that to you. See, they're never going to say to you, you just serve too much. I got to let you go. You come in early, you leave late, you don't take breaks. You do all your job excellently, and then you do other people's jobs. In fact, you really bring down morale. Because other people feel badly because you're doing so good. So I got to let you go to protect the culture here. It's never going to happen in your life. You See, he says we need to spur each other to love and good deeds. We need to lean in and invest in each other's lives. Let me tell you something else that doesn't happen. Now some of you, you're on a faith journey. This is the first spiritual context you've ever been in. That's wonderful. There's others of you, you've been to lots of churches. And you and I talk to people who are like looking for a church. It always makes me a little nervous. Because, I'm looking for a church that meets my needs. What you're actually saying is, I'm looking for a church who will love me and serve me. I mean, it sounds kind of awkward to say, love me, serve me. Will you love me and serve me? I was at another church, but they didn't love me and serve me enough. So now I'm looking for, or they love me and serve me for a while until they realize I won't love and serve. So now I'm looking for a church that doesn't know I won't love and serve, so I want to be loved and served. See, you know what would be awesome? If somebody came here and said, I'm looking for a place where I can love and serve more. I'm looking for a place where people need to be loved, where people need to be served, and because I want to just give all I can. It would be an amazing thing. And I know people like give up on the church as if the church is the institution. The church is people. You go, well, people let me down. Of course they did. They're humans. You let people down too. You just don't even know because you left. Oh, people don't keep their promises. Of course they don't. They're people. If you're looking for a perfect church, stop. Because if you find it, you will ruin it. You got to finally just decide, I'm going to be a part of imperfect people because I'm imperfect people. See, we don't have to be perfect. Love is perfect. And service is an act of humility that binds us together. Because with love and humility, we hang together no matter how many times we disappoint each other. You want staying power? Hold tight and lean in. Lean into people. Lean into life. Lean into others. Make a choice to serve and to love people. And instead of looking for people who will love and serve you, look for people who need you to love and serve them. And let me tell you, the moment you decide to live your life to love and serve others, love and service will find you. People will love you and will serve you, and you won't even have to look for them because they'll be looking for you. Because love and service is drawn like moths to a flame when a person is loving and serving. And then it says, and by the way, let us consider how we may spur one another toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another all the more as you see the day approaching. Now, you need to realize the book of Hebrews was written while people who saw Jesus, who heard Jesus, who knew Jesus were still alive. And some of those people, I know this is hard for you to believe, there are people who actually believed in Jesus who thought church was optional, who had a habit of not showing up when the church came together. Isn't that crazy? That's so hard to believe. There's some people who just came occasionally. And he said, stop doing what they're doing, giving up on meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing. There are people who had the habit of just showing up when they wanted to show up. I know that's hard to believe, but I'm so encouraged in a really dark way that they had that problem then, because we have that problem now. If we had everyone here who said, I believe in Jesus and Mosaic is my tribe, we couldn't fit everybody in here. This is like 24-hour fitness or Equinox. Everybody signs up in January, works out for 4 weeks, and then pays membership the rest of the year while never sweating again. Some of you come and you say, yes, Jesus, I'm going to give you my life. And Mosaic, this is my community. I'm all in. And you left it somewhere because it isn't all in. See, there's some of you who have given up on meeting together as some are in the habit of doing. So if some are in the habit of not meeting together, maybe we should make a habit of meeting together. Now, I know there are people who are so nuanced. They go, well, you know, the church isn't a building. Of course it's not a building. Well, the church isn't when we meet together. Well, no, actually it is. It's just not only when we meet together. It's also when we go out together. It's when we're scattered in the world, but when we're gathered in community as well. Now, you see, this wasn't a new idea. This was Jesus' idea. He came up with the idea of the church. And by the way, meeting on Sunday, it wasn't really something Jesus taught. It was just something that the disciples caught. Because Jesus was crucified on Friday, buried, and then raised from the dead on Sunday, which was a huge day. It becomes like an epic day, resurrection. He rose from the dead. Sunday. That makes Sunday more special than Monday. And so the disciples, they were meeting together every day after Jesus rose from the dead, trying to figure this thing out. But the next Sunday, Jesus shows up. He comes through the wall, says, hey guys, how you doing? And that's through church. So they all meet together and they're shocked. They're terrified because Jesus has risen from the dead and now he's showing up on Sunday, a week later. He could have come on Tuesday, but he showed up on Sunday. But you know, someone didn't decide to go to church that day. It was Thomas. Yeah, I can miss this Sunday. You ever say that? I went last Sunday. I don't need to go this. I mean, after all, last Sunday he rose from the dead. What's going to happen this week? So Thomas doesn't show up, and then they tell Thomas, you know what happened? It was what? Jesus showed up. We had church. We did church. We were church. Jesus was here with us. Thomas was like, I don't believe you. Of course you don't believe me because you weren't here. Because you're like those people who had a habit of not showing up. So a week goes by. Why does a week go by? I don't know. A week goes by. Is Jesus trying to establish a pattern? Show up because I'm showing up. So then the next Sunday, guess who shows up? Thomas. There's some of you show up when you think something's going to happen. See, if you believe Jesus was going to show up on Sunday, would you show up or would you be like Thomas and not show up? So the next week, Thomas is there and Jesus says, Thomas, I'm here for you. Put your fingers in my hand. Go ahead, check out the scars. Make sure it's me. He's like, I don't think I need to do that. I just had church. And he worshiped him. And so the church established a pattern of meeting on Sundays because Jesus kept showing up. And Jesus is still showing up. We just aren't showing up. And by the way, it was a huge shift in culture because Saturday was the day off. It was the Sabbath for all the Jews. Sunday was a day of work. But now they've met Jesus, and Sunday becomes their new day because Jesus rose from the dead. So now they don't work on Saturday, and they don't work on Sunday. Can you imagine if people just decided, we're not working on Tuesday? I mean, it would just shift everything in society. What would happen? And so what happened is they stopped working on Sunday. And so the world had to adjust because now they didn't work on Saturday because they were Hebrews, and they didn't work on Sunday because they were Christians. That's how the weekend was started. Not the band. The 2-day holiday. The reason you work 5 days a week and have 2 days off is because Jesus was a Jew and he rose from the dead. So even if you don't believe in God, every weekend, your life is completely affected and altered by the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Now, I happen to know that for Muslims, Friday is their holy day. And you know, so one of the positive things of having a more eclectic society is maybe we add Friday as a holiday and we only have to work Monday through Thursday. And then if we can convince like atheists to make Monday like their day, right? Because Monday is actually named after Moon Day, which is actually dealing with insanity, and it's insanity not to believe in God, so it's a perfect day for atheists. And then we could have 3-day work weeks, Tuesday through Thursday, which would be kind of epic. Then we'd be Australia and or France. You can get it all done. You can get it all done. But you know what he's actually saying? If you want to have staying power, you need to hold tight because the return isn't the turns. You need to lean in and pour out love and service because what you pour out is what you get in. But you need to stay close, not giving up on meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another. I love how the word encouraging means to have courage placed in you. See, when you encourage another person, you're placing courage in that person. See, what happens when we come together is we pour courage into each other. We pour faith into each other. We pour hope into each other. We pour life into each other. We pour love into each other. Have you ever stepped into a place like this and felt so empty and you left so full? Have you ever stepped in and felt discouraged and felt so encouraged? Have you ever stepped in and felt as if you were deflated and you leave inspired? What's happening is what can only happen in community together. And I want you to know that I get it. I talked to a guy yesterday, and he said he was from Seattle, and he said, I'm a Christian. And I said, oh, great. He goes, yeah, but I don't go to church. I said, oh, okay. He goes, well, there's a lot of Christians in Seattle that don't go to church. And I started thinking and trying to have a conversation with him, because you see, one of the odd things is that how in the world can you say you love Jesus and not love people? Because when you say you've given up on the church, what you're actually saying is that you're giving up on people. Because we're the church. And if Jesus refuses to give up on us, what in the world makes us think that we can give up on us? And the reality is that when you give up on us, you've given up on yourself. Because community is the way we're created and designed to live. So we need to stay close. Thank you. We got one person. So some of you want to go, how can I become more spiritually mature? Like, how can I grow in my faith? Well, here's step one. You have to show up to grow up. And if you don't show up, you're not going to grow up. And there's some of you, you just keep showing up in a lot of different places, but that's not the path to maturity. If you're just visiting places, you're just going to church. When you're committed to a community, you are the church, and there's a difference. Some of you are like rocks skimming the surface of the waters but never going deep. It's like the guy who dates 20 women and thinks he's a great lover. You're not a great lover, you're just a surface person. See, I've been married 35 years, I'm a great lover. Because you're just moving to level 1 in intimacy 20 times. Rather than moving to level 20 one time. And the only way you're ever going to go deep in your faith is to hold tight and lean in and stay close. You got to let people close to you. You got to let people in your life. You have to let people see you. You have to let people know you. You have to stay in community long enough where people can see through the person that you put on when you meet people, to see the person that you are trying to hide that is driving you into your own brokenness. So you have to be in a place long enough where people know you and still love you, and where you know people and you still love people. See, when Jesus died on the cross, when he rose from the dead, he didn't come just to connect us to God. He came to connect us to each other. The miracle is not loving God. All you need to do to love God is to see God clearly, because God is worthy of love. The miracle is that we can love each other, that we can see each other in all of our brokenness and all of our imperfection and all of our pain and all of our insecurity. See, that's the power and wonder of love. And there's some of you, yeah. Oh, I was just talking to someone, and I said, hey, if you come to LA and become a part of our lives, and I had to correct myself, I said, you're going to have to go to church. And I said, no, you're not. You're not going to have to go to church. You're going to want to go to church. You're going to get to go to church. See, what I want us is to redefine church. I know it's become a dirty word. I know it's an uncomfortable word. I know it's not a word that people really like. But I think we should redefine what church is. I think this is the kind of place that when people say the word church, they'll go, I got to be there. I don't want to miss what's happening. Because if 2,000 years ago, if you missed church, you missed Jesus showing up, let me tell you, 2,000 years later, if you miss church, you miss Jesus showing up. And he wants to show up in your life in just the way you need him to. To some of you right now, who you don't have staying power in your faith. Wow, this week has been brutal. I was driving Aaron's car. He took off the doors. He took off the top. We traded cars. And I'm driving his car in the heat wave. and I'm driving the car, and it said 118, then 119, then 120, then 121. As I'm driving home, I'm thinking, I'm going to fry to death in this Jeep. And I get to the house, and at least we have some reprieve because there's air conditioning, because we have modern advantages to overcome this heat. And the transformer blew in our neighborhood, and we lost all power. And we lost electricity. We lost everything. We lost Wi-Fi. We were back to the dark ages, literally. And I had people tell me, oh, you don't have any electricity? I said, no. And they go, just turn on some fans. Millennials. You haven't connected, the fan has to plug in to electricity. And we went without without air conditioning, and the heat was so suffocating. It was like 110 in the middle of the night. And Kim had just come back from Malawi, and she survived 2 weeks of Malawi, but she couldn't take the heat. It was killing her. She started getting angry and saying things she regrets, or things I regret. And she said, I just can't take the heat. And so finally, we went to a hotel last night just to get some relief, some reprieve from the heat. And then we heard the power's back on, so we went back home, and then we're home just for a little while, and everything blows again, and we lose all of our electricity. And I'm like, why can't you stay on? You don't have any staying power. Because the transformers keep blowing that allow us to be connected to the source of that power. There's some of you, you don't have staying power because you're not connected to the source of that power. The reason you lack faith, the reason you lack hope, and the reason you lack joy, and the reason you lack life is because Jesus is the source of everything your soul is longing for. And so the way this begins is getting plugged into the one who created you, to getting into relationship to the God who loves you. And the way you do that is you cross the line of faith and you give your life to him. 2,000 years ago, Jesus gave his life for you. All he's waiting for is for you to give your life to him. When you give your life to him, he gives his life to you. And he puts in you the power to see it through. Because Jesus becomes your staying power. So what I ask you to do right now is just bow your heads just for a moment. Just close your eyes. And right now, I'm going to invite you to cross this line of faith and invite Jesus into your life. I'm going to lead you in a simple prayer. It's just one sentence. But this sentence will change your life if you confess it to God. Here it is. Jesus, I give you my life. That's it. It's not everything you and God need to talk about. That conversation is going to last for all of eternity. But right now, this is where it begins. Just tell him, Jesus, I give you my life. Right now, wherever you are. Jesus, I give you my life. Just whisper it to him. Jesus, I give you my life. He hears you. He sees you. He knows you. He loves you. He accepts you. If you just whispered, Jesus, I give you my life, you belong to him now. He has placed his life in you right now. The staying power is yours. If you just prayed that prayer, I want to pray for you right now. If you just prayed that prayer, Jesus, I give you my life, I want you right now, without hesitation, without apprehension, without embarrassment, without shame, I want you right now just to hold your hand up high and say, yes, I just prayed this prayer. Jesus, I give you my life. Right now, just hold it up high. Beautiful. Anyone else? Beautiful. Beautiful. Right now, just hold it up high. Jesus, I give you my life. Wonderful. Jesus, I give you my life. Anyone else? Wonderful. Jesus, I give you my life. Before I pray, anyone else right now? Jesus, I give you my life. Father, I thank you for the men and women in this room who've just crossed the line of faith and opened their lives to you. I thank you that in this moment, as they have given you their lives, that you have given them your life. You've placed your life in them. They belong to you. You will never abandon them. Just wrap them up in your love right now. Just let them know this moment is the beginning of new things, of a new life, of a new future, of new hope, and that they have the staying power to see it through. I thank you so much, Father, and we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Can we just thank God for all those who respond to him right now? So good. So good. We're going to sing one more song. We're going to have the song of worship. I just want you to let this stuff go deep into your soul. Hold tight. Lean in. Stay close. Hold tight. Lean in. Stay close. You know what to do? To have staying power. You hold tight. You lean in. You stay close. That's how the staying power becomes yours. After we sing this song, I've asked Aaron on his last day being 29 just to come and close us, to maybe just share just a brief word from his own life as we move forward together as a tribe. Love you guys. Let's all stand together.
You came for us. You come for me. You come again and again and again and again. You came for us. You come for me. You come again and again and again and again. You came for us. You come for me. You come again and again and again and again. You came for us. You come for me. You come again and again and again. So in the eyes of my Savior, I am held in the might of His hand. I am rescued, I am saved, I am covered, I am free. For you are with me till I'm with you again. So in the eyes of my Savior, I am held in the might of His hands. I am rescued, I am saved, I am covered, I am free. For you are with me till I'm with you again.
Hey, can we just give it up? Can we just give a loud shout? Come on. Hey. I'm getting old. I gotta go to South Pasadena morning service. It's okay, they'll be all right, they'll be all right. Hey, tonight was incredible, yeah? Feels good to be here. Yeah, are you quiet? Or you don't speak English? Yeah, you good? Okay, come on. This is just, if you don't know me, my name's Erwin, and I'm just here to harass you until you actually say something. No, it's been an incredible day, all day. How many services do we do now? Like 17? Yeah, it's just amazing. Wow. It was, I was at my dad's house and the power was out and I was sweating bullets. And it was just crazy to think that you get to come to church and I barely slept, and at 4 a.m. in the morning they weren't staying there, I was house sitting, and 4 a.m. in the morning all the electricity turns on, and I thought someone broke into the house, and I woke up in like a frantic, and I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? And then to think that it was the Sunday, it's the Saturday night before Sunday, and I feel like I'm running on fumes, and we're here. And it's just the best day ever. And it's just crazy to think that, like, whatever it takes to get you here, it's worth it, right? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you didn't sleep. You're here. Life change. It's just incredible. I don't know why we would ever not want to come back the second week. You know what I mean? We always say this, and I think it's kind of a joke, but it's kind of serious. Like, hey, we do this every week. You can come back. No, but that's it. But if you're here and you made the decision to accept Jesus into your life, we want to make sure you get a Bible. We have one right here. It says, "You belong here." We mean it. It's little. It comes with a little microscope. You can read all. I'm getting old, so my eyesight's going. And I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's a good day, yeah. Man, I hope this heat stops. But it's like hot church. I've never done hot yoga, but it's just like that. You know, you just stretch. Oh man, I don't want it to end. Do you want it to end? No? It's my birthday in like 45 minutes, so, all right. All right, next week, we will be here and we will see you and I will tell you my life story. Have a good night. We love you guys so much.